Hello, it's Miss Payne, and today I'm going to share and open up with you about something. I am addicted to Reddit. I absolutely love it. Now, this Reddit here is Reddit teachers subreddit. I will say it can be toxic at times, but it's enjoyable and it's cool to relate on people from around the country, better yet, around the globe, about education. So, in this video, I'm going to read the trending topic of today. I am stuttering because I am a little bit tired, but it is fun. I read some comments, I give my own thoughts on them, and I want to hear what you have to say below. Okay, so today what's trending is what was the biggest myth about teaching you were taught in college? This person begins by sharing how she was told not to give a student candy because it does not teach intrinsic motivation. However, now that she's in school, she uses candy, chips, and all of that to motivate her students and just to build relationships and as rewards. Now, in regards to candy, my own opinion is I have a whole entire like a 30-gallon box devoted to prizes. I hit up that Target dollar spot on the every weekend, and I love to stock it up with cookies, honey buns, everything from socks to sand to chapsticks to perfume samples. I teach high school, so I have like everything. And I go to BJ's, Costco, and I use coupons. I really do it big. And this year, I really noticed that the kids have a lot of water bottles that are plastic. So I'm getting the new Aquaman water bottles from Jason Momoa. And I also did Just Water um, water cartons. They're made of mostly cardboard and paper, and the students love it because it's got an endorsement from Jaden Smith, the icon rapper, Will Smith's son. They absolutely love it. They think they're the coolest kids on the block when they get that Jaden Smith Just Water carton. And this is not sponsored, but yes. Another lie, or the biggest myth that someone was taught, is that you will be able to provide differentiation for everything you do, for every child who needs it, every single day. Yeah, I agree with your crispy, crunchy Pop Tart says, yep, literally impossible, even as a special education teacher. You cannot give a child everything every day. You're going to miss some things. And it sucks, but that's true, especially when you have a classroom of 30 plus students. It's impossible. Plus, you have ESOL students, you have special education, 504, gifted, all in one class is not working. And maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but I believe in tracking. I think it's okay to track. I think it's okay to have AP, which is tracking anyway, in my opinion. AP classes, gifted classes, honors classes, magnet classes, remedial classes, special education. That's all tracking in a way. Let's see what else we got here. Trying to go through to a new thread. That you get to teach more content in secondary setting? Nope, lies. Thanks to legislation like NCLB, which is No Child Left Behind, kids get passed up to the next grade level when they can't perform anywhere close to the grade level they're already at. I have high schoolers, 10th through 12th graders, that cannot read past a fourth grade level because they've just been pushed along. So I have to water down the content and attempt to teach them biology while also teaching them to read so that they can hopefully pass the state test required to graduate. It's complete, and as you see what they put. Now, I I get this. I understand it is very hard when you have students who don't know how to read in the 10th and 12th grade. And it is true, students pass the class whether they do anything or not. You got social promotion, and then the optics just makes it look like your school is doing something. So, of course, your school wants to be successful. But I will say, as a teacher, I really do try to work with my students. I try to get them on platforms like Actively Learn. My school does Achieve 3000, so I got to get on on board with that. But my students say they really enjoy Actively Learn. I make sure they're reading and writing in class every day. But I totally agree, especially in science. In science, you need math and reading skills. And when you're behind, it makes science that much harder, especially in physics. This person says half of my high school science students have an elementary school reading level. I feel your pain, and don't even get me started on the basic math skills that I have to waste loads of teaching time on. Um, this brings me to another point of the original comment in this thread. Um, you're right, we don't get to teach more content. Um, it's hard to differentiate as well. And when you don't really have the time, you might have those gifted kids that be that can learn physics or chemistry on grade level or beyond AP honors level, but you don't really have the time to create those specific lessons for them, those extension pieces for them when you also have to do reading lessons for students at the lower level. Um, and for the kids in the middle, it's instead of teaching physical science, instead of teaching physics, you're teaching physical science. Instead of teaching biology, you're teaching life science. And some of them are still not catching on. I have a secret. In my class, we do eighth grade stations that are designed for 50-minute classes. I have a 90-minute class, and a lot of my students are struggling with middle school content. So, yes, it is very hard, but you can only do so much, and I stay hopeful as much as I can to get them to grade level. Another one, oh my gosh. Oh, there is this let me look it up. There is this YouTube video that every college course wants to introduce. Is a TED Talk. Let me see if I can go to it. TED Talk. I think it's like every kid needs a champion or something like that. See what I watched there? A lot of Drag Race. Every kid needs a champion, Rita Pearson. And she says, like, don't use a red pen. It hurts kids' feelings, which is what McGlundy says here. And I actually talked to my high schoolers. I was like, does it matter what color pen that I grade with? They're like, no, wrong is wrong. So whether I grade using a red pen or put the positive number or the negative number on the paper, they know what they did. What's more important is me having a more positive attitude and a more encouraging spirit that they can do better. I love having things graded and read as a kid. This is what Maggie Hope says. It made me feel so grown up. And it's easier to see the corrections. That's a good point. That's a good point. It's easier to see corrections. Hmm. Because even if you do like a purple pen every time, the students are going to know. I use just black pens in my class, so they know wrong is wrong. But I see what Rita was saying, but uh, anybody got time for that? Another myth that someone was taught in college, that you will write out lesson plans. If you are required, that's one thing, but I never was unless it was an observation. That every lesson will have centers or think, pair, share or an exit ticket. Don't even get me started on a hook. Also, I totally agree with you on the candy thing. She's referring to the original post. Um, Basically, that in competitions among students or classes was the only thing that ever motivated them in a tangible way. Oh, that's a good point. So, competitions amongst students really gets them to learn the material, especially if they're fighting for candy and just to be with their peers. And it's also encouraging for them to work for a common goal, whether that be a grade, whether that be candy. It really enhances their learning. Quizlet is an ultimate resource. Live Quizlets are the bomb, and I'm still surprised at how many teachers do not use Quizlet Live. Like, it's shocking. I have to sub for some absent teachers in addition to my own class. And when I'm subbing and I say, hey kids, we're going to do Quizlet Live, and they're like, what is that? How do we join? We never played this. I'm like, you guys made it to 10th grade and never played Quizlet? But anyway, um, Cerulean Crayon, who's this post, we're still here, says you will write out lesson plans. To be honest, when I go to Title I schools in Georgia, it's like lesson plans are 4 to 8 pages versus in, I hate to say it, but like non-Title One suburban affluent schools, it's just whatever you want. It can be 1 page. And of course, there are exceptions to the rule. And I know when I was in California as well, it was 1 page grid of what you're doing that day. Didn't even have to write the standards. It was just, hey, do you have something planned? And I actually have a book where I handwrite out my lessons, which is just the activity to teach the content. And that helps me be more organized than an unrealistic 4 page lesson plan. Like, I really don't have time for that. Like, that's obsessive. Also, I don't really do an exit ticket or warm up. I just jump into the work. I know that's not good in regards to imagery, but the kids don't mind it because I do survey my kids a lot. I ask them for feedback. And the warm up can come on the gizmo at the beginning. The warm up is review your notes. The warm up is Quizlet. It might not be something as extensive as a word problem. Like, get into the flow of the class. Just let's start class. And they are adaptive. Let's see. Wow, this person says my Raven of Azareth says my school requires us to make detailed lesson plans every week, and that's new to me. Yes, we did do lesson planning a little in college, but I didn't for any of my student teaching. My mentors even told me that's not a thing. Now I'm in a school that requires it, and I'm so lost to what what to even put. And this is a high school English teacher in Texas. Now, I I agree. When I was, or I am still kind of in school, working on a master's, um, which I haven't gone to class in like 4 weeks because I'm overwhelmed. But I got to get back to it. That was personal. But anyway, um, my school requires me to make detailed lessons plans for my college, um, not only for the week, but for the day. Each day has 2 pages dedicated to it. That is ridiculous. That is impossible. It really is. It's like writing an essay for every day. Not to mention, you might have more than one class. Impossible. Or maybe I'm just mediocre. Every time I hear mediocre, I think about the guy from Mad Max. Mediocre. I'm not going to Valhalla. Age of Phoenix says, "Oh God, the lesson plans. I'm in grad school now after teaching for 5 years, and I guess they are forgetting that I'm an actual teacher. That's where I am, and they are harping in me about lesson plans and teacher talk. B, I'm not going to write you a 10-page lesson plan. Here's my plan. We're talking about the revolution today. Here's the assignment. Exactly. I actually, this resonates with me just a little bit. Hmm. Almost every problem in education could be solved with smaller class sizes. Someone says they have 49 students in one class. Yeah, I've had that too. I've had 46 students in class, up to 60, where I had students just sitting on the counter. And I had 60 at one time because I was grade level chair and we didn't have any substitutes, and teachers would not accept any more students in their class because we have a policy called like farming out, which means when a teacher is gone or multiple teachers are gone, the kids are split up to go to other classrooms. And a lot of the teachers were like sick of it. They're like, we're not going to have any students anymore in here. And so I had to take all these kids. And I said, kids, I can't do anything about it. The administrators won't do anything. The coaches won't do anything. So I have to just have you guys sit wherever. And that happened more than once, way more than once. This myth says classroom management will be a non issue if you create good enough lesson plans. Before the kid even gets into the door, they have issues that you have to address. Now, I will say this year I am so blessed. These past couple of years, I love my school, you guys. And for those who are struggling, check out my video on less stress. Uh, Teacher tips for less stress. It will really help you. Um, and one of my recommendations is to just make sure you find that school that fits you. I love my school. I love my admin team. I love the students there. They're so diverse. Like you'll hear all of this on that video, but yeah. But no matter where you go, yeah, classroom management is not necessarily about lesson plans. I have great lesson plans in regards to my 1 page, 1 square per day bootleg lesson plans. But even then, you just have kids that have bad days. And I tell my students at the beginning, like, no matter what's going on, you can talk to me. And if you're having a bad day or you feel the need to act out, don't. Just put your head down or just don't come. I love you. I want you to be safe, but don't distract anybody else who's trying to work. Just put your head down. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I forgot that elementary teachers have to prep different subjects. That's insane. I'm looking at democracy on the screen. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, the myth is everything has to be engaging. Kids don't know how to be bored and seem to think that every single moment in life is supposed to be entertaining. So teachers are left to feel guilty when their lessons are boring. I never feel that. I never feel that if I have a boring moment, it's terrible. I can see how some teachers look at Instagram and see these classrooms with magnificent stage movie sets, but and feel like what they have is lackluster. But that right there, I got over that, I guess, the first day of school. Like, I don't have to be perfect in that way. Um, and I make agreements with my students. You know, I say, hey, look, this part is going to be a little bit boring. We can get it out of the way now, or we can do it later. Or if we get through this, then we can play a game. And then there's more of a buy in for that. Dang. I scrolled and found this one. Joyal Sex says, I'm absolutely positive that every second of stocking shelves at Walmart will be engaging so that students will be fully prepared for life. I don't know how to, I don't know what to say to that. Good lesson plans are a first step, but they're not everything. Hmm. See a little conversation here. C.A. Austin 3 says the big problem with it is that it's designed to blame teachers, not educate teachers. Kids neglected at home, raised by wolves, lured to school by the promise of a meal or two, and acts out in your classroom. Why did you do this to him with your inadequately engaging lessons? And then someone says, sounds like it's the teacher's fault again. Hmm. Someone says, I want to know where we got this. Students can only learn from someone they like garbage. Students don't learn when they feel unsafe, but a baseline of mutual trust does not mean we have to be BFFs. Most of these kids have plenty of friends already. The real relationship we need to establish with them is demonstrating structure and consistency. Oh, we got a study here. They got it from Laura Ekin and Marilyn Watson. Let's click on this. This person says, I used to try this 5 years into teaching. I switched to consistent, structured discipline that has a it's not personal approach. I've never been happier. So they're saying this right here, the study that you need to build relationships, attachment theory, and classroom management. This theory here need help to progress that mindset of being the kids or building relationships. They're saying that it's not really effective. Let's see. Ooh. I don't know if you guys are seeing this. Okay. Too often as teachers, we worry about doing too much for our students, lest we contribute to their dependency and fail to convey our confidence that they are capable of solving their own problems. However, Especially for students who enter our classrooms full of mistrust, it is more important to convey our good intentions and trustworthiness. For example, by being nice and providing help in the many small instances when a helpful gesture, while unnecessary, would ease a student's situation. Picking up a student's dropped pencil, providing missing lunch money, or spending time talking with students about their interests are some of the many ways of convey caring and trustworthiness. Displaying affection, sharing our lives, and inviting students to share their lives are also some of the many ways to build our students' bonds of trust with us. Okay. From that small snippet, I actually do that. But I don't know about the missing lunch money, but lunch is free for anybody at my school. But I guess I'm more of a warm, strict person, and I'm really enjoying teaching high school because we can have more. There's more things to bond on. I feel like you can talk to them on a higher level versus middle school. Hmm. A lot of these have cuss words. Okay, so the original post was saying, you know, they were never taught how apathetic and disinterested students really can be. And this is kind of me right here. Another PG, this user saying, um, I'm teaching high school astronomy this year, which is by far one of the coolest subjects, I agree, for me to teach because it's so interesting and I get really passionate and animated with it. But this year, my students just aren't responding. They literally just sit there and yawn as I'm dancing around the room with the energy of Bill Nye. That's so me. Usually, my students are pretty engaged and interactive. This year, I get zero questions and no interest. It's really starting to take the wind out of my sails and make everything drag. Now, I do have some students like that. They're just like, oh my gosh, she is extra. But I think they'll warm up to you eventually. And then the day that you're not like Bill Nye, they're like, what is wrong with Miss Such and Such? Are you okay? And you'll see that they are concerned and that they really do appreciate it because I'm usually loud dancing in class, but last week I was sick. I even missed a day, and I rarely miss a day. And so when I came back the next day, my students were like, Miss Payne, are you okay? Like, what's going on? You're usually loud, you're usually dancing, there's usually music. Are you all right? And I was just like, I don't feel well. And these were the same students who were like disinterested. They are usually like in their own world, it feels like. So I think they do care. I don't know if I don't agree with students being completely apathetic. I'm sure there are some students like that, but I don't know. All right, I think this is probably my longest video ever. And I thank you guys for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what your thoughts were. I'd love to have some discussion about some of these topics. Um, Oop, this is a good one. We'll talk about learning styles in another video. All right, thank you. This is my first Reddit talk. I really enjoyed this. So let me know what you thought in the comments below. Please subscribe. catch you in the next one.